Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. Now made up by Disney, or current Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it. Legends. So again, I have no notes for you today because I've already read this trilogy before. Therefore, I'm just going to talk about some things I liked about it and let that be all. Today we're reviewing Darth Bane, Book 2, The Rule of 2. And then all we have left is Dynasty of Evil, and we reach the prequel era. I love this book. Not as much as Path of Destruction. By memory, I think Path of Destruction is overall the best, but the trilogy together is really good. I think, so far from what I've read, unless the third book really changes my mind, if I ever make a top 10, Darth Bane would probably be third or second. I have a feeling Darth Plagueis will be higher, from memory at least. This book is written basically, starts right after the end of the last book, just continuing off. And we have Xana's cousin making a return. We have Xana as a kid for the first half. We have a time jump near the middle portion of the book where we jump ahead 10 years into the future. But it's really interesting, this first half of the book, where we have this student teacher relationship with Xana and Bane. You have like this hulking figure next to this little girl. In fact, I saw another video talking about it, but it very much reminds me of if you've ever seen Game of Thrones during those season 3, season 4, maybe even the end of season 2, you had Arya Stark traveling around with the Hound. Just big hulking dark figure. Of course, Xana does plenty of evil things in this book, and she's definitely cemented herself by the end of this book as a true Sith follower. But I find a lot of their conversations interesting. I think the middle of the book kind of none of the book is boring, but there are parts that kind of drag on a bit, I feel like, in this book compared to the last one. Whereas the last one, I just felt like there was never really a dull moment. But overall, this book is just really enjoyable. I enjoy the interactions between Darth Bane and Darth Xana. I enjoy even the Jedi characters who get way more of a focus in this book than they did in the last one. I enjoyed that too. And there are some really disturbing parts in this book, and this is without a doubt. This is not glorifying or making you really feel sympathy for the villains, who are villains, but we do follow them. I mean, Xana does some pretty terrible things in this book. Just as a little girl, early on in this book, she wastes an entire family to get what she needs. And by the end of the book, I don't even want to say it in case you haven't read it, because that's a bigger spoiler. My God. Also, she can become the true Sith, Dark Lord of the Sith, and beat Bane. That's another thing that's just, they're living their lives together for 10 years with the knowledge that one day Xana will challenge Bane to death. I love that. Also, one of the things that was great about this book was Darth Bane's whole reasoning of, well, we don't want to kill everybody we come across. We want myths. We want stories being told of our existence. Because the less evidence you have, but more stories you have, the more and more, if a mistake is ever made or something, and they're seen by somebody or something, who's going to believe them? No one. But by the end of this book, the risk of the Sith being found out is had, but it's resolved in such a way to where all of the because Yoda and Mace Windu know about the Rule of 2, so they obviously know about Bane, but they think that the Sith are extinct by the time of episode 1, and that happens here, right? By the end of this book, They have enough knowledge to know who Darth Bane was. Maybe they find some of his, writings. But they think that the Dark Lords are gone. They don't know that Darth Bane and Darth Zana remain. I also liked the cousin character a lot. He's originally from the comic book Jedi versus Sith, where we kind of follow his journey, where it follows a bunch of kids, which is a bit kiddie, but Star Wars is for kids. I mean, not this trilogy though. My goodness, no. But he was really excited to be like a Jedi in the comic, and then he was like, "You Jedi aren't doing anything," and then he joins the Sith, and then he ends up killing, I think, his brother. I'm not exactly sure, and then he feels really bad about it, and then Zana blows up his arm, and then he just decides to be a hermit, healing people. But at least he heals people, doesn't just go and drink some milk. That's all I'll say there. But eventually, a Jedi comes upon him later on in the book and wants to. I don't know. I don't remember how exactly they talk. Or whatever. I don't have any notes. I'm sorry. But when they meet up, he ends up telling him about how he saw Darth Bane and Darth Zana, and so he wants him to tell the Jedi Council about this. But then we also find out that Darth Zana is on Coruscant, going to the Jedi library because she's trying to get information for Darth Bane, and then freaking her cousin recognizes her, and that's a whole thing, and it leads to a very disturbing end, but a very fitting end for these two characters. I don't know. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but I also didn't take any notes, so having the time jump was interesting. I did make a few notes in my head, just the fact that there was the planet Sereno, which will be important later because that's where Count Dooku comes from. So I just made a note of that. I enjoy that this is getting a little bit more into the politics. It's still not as politics heavy as the prequels. I mean, not that the politics in the prequels is super heavy, but there's a lot more of it, and I know in Darth Plagueis especially. But they do start talking about it a bit more than they have in previous books about Star Wars. There's always little mentions of it that I've read so far, but nothing really in depth. We're getting a little bit more of how the how things work, and I like that a lot. And I like how Sidious and everyone basically does follow Darth Bane's kind of path. I mean, I know Darth Sidious gets a little lenient with certain tenets, but he still, by technicality, follows those rules. But yeah, overall, I don't know what this was. This was kind of just rambling. I just finished it, so I decided to talk about it. Felt like I did a better job in my last one, but whatever. Overall, I think it's the weakest in the trilogy, but still a really good read. If you really loved Path of Destruction, it's most certainly worth your time to read the second book. And I can't even really get mad or be like, oh, well, this is the dullest one. Because while it may be the weakest of the three, it also was written in 6 months, which I forgot to mention. I probably should have done that. Basically, let me just say that now before I go. Path of Destruction was so popular. Del Rey, I think it was Del Rey, they're like, hey, can you make another one in 6 months so we can have it out? And Drew Karpyshyn's just like, sure. And so he did. So, I mean, I have to say, for a book that was written within 6 months, it certainly doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like there's, that he was rushing anything or didn't care as much this time around. He certainly did. And as always, Darth Bane is a really fascinating character, along with Darth Zana. And Disney, please, if you would ever just give us some more comics and novels, please let James Lucy know. Not James Lucy. Sorry, why did I say that? Please let freaking Drew Karpyshyn write a Darth Zana novel, or even just a short story with a couple chapters in it. I want more Zana, please. But overall, that's it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, my ramblings, my randomness, please give a thumbs up. Sharing would help if you did so. I would much appreciate it. People you should go check out though, if you love the expanded universe, Christopher Nelson. He's a cool guy. If you want to find some rare stuff in the expanded universe, go to him. He is the EU Santa. That's what I'll call him. That's no disrespect. I love his beard and his hair. It's gorgeous. He's a lion. He's majestic in the wind. It just flows by as he talks very quietly about the expanding universe. Seriously though, all his videos are very quiet. I gotta turn up my volume all the way to hear it. And then of course, my favorite guy in the world. I've never met him in real life, but he's awesome. That would be Matt Wilkins. He kind of finished his entire expanding universe journey, unlike me, so I don't know exactly what the future of his channel entails for the EU, but there are hundreds of videos to watch if you have never seen him before. You can go watch his videos and enjoy them as much as I have, and see whatever else he has in store for the future. But definitely with him, his videos are usually pretty short. There are some spoilerish stuff in there, but he usually warns you beforehand. He unlike me, because I'm an ignorant fool, he will bring up more of the behind the scenes stuff going on with some of the issues he talks about and whatnot. And I always find that really interesting. Talk about the authors and stuff a bit more, depending on what he's talking about. And it's really fascinating stuff that you won't get from most Star Wars book reviewers, I guess. He's got a very unique way of going about things, and I really enjoy it. He also will sometimes bring skits into it, with like his little buddy Yubnub. It's all very fun and very worth your time. I'll have a link in the description or something. Anyway, have a good rest of your day, and as always, may the Force be with you.